Hi planty people. So I was, bustling around with my plants today and realized that I could use some more hangers for them because I've run out of horizontal space. And I thought it was a great opportunity to show you all how I do all of my hangers with one knot. So the important part is to start with some long pieces of your cord. Okay, I'll be honest, I don't measure it. I eyeballed it. This one's going to be a little on the shorter side because remember, you're going to lose length every time you make a knot because the length is going to end up wrapped around your other pieces of cord. So the longer you want your hanger to be, or the larger the planter you're trying to put in it, the longer strands you're going to need to start with. So for what we're doing, I have 12 strands. All right, there's 6 on one side and 6 on the other. And I'm going to start by tying a knot at the top so that I have a loop. Okay, I'm sure you guys have all done this at some point. You just take it, you're going to knot it around itself and pull it through. Now I'm going to hang it back up so that I can pull these strands tight. Oh, sorry about the camera being weird. And just strand by strand go through and give them a good yank. There's other options to start it too, but this one was low effort, so I went with it. Alright, so besides that, I'm going to let you guys in on a secret here. I only know how to do one knot, so that's what we're getting. So my 12 strands, I'm going to separate them into groups of 4. Okay, you want to try to get ones that are already kind of close together because it makes it easier in the end. Alright, so I've got my group of 4 and I want one on one side, one on the other, and 2 strands in the middle. And I'm going to flop the rest of these out of the way here so it's easier for you to watch me make the knot. Okay, so I'm going to take this one and make an L, and I want this one back behind it. Pull it up and through the L that I made. And then while keeping the pieces in the middle straight, I'm going to pull that up. Now if I keep doing that in that same direction, this strand will start to twist. And that gives you that fun kind of curly whirl thing. So I've got a whole lot of these to go, so I'm going to just speed this up a little bit. It's important to anchor your project so you can get tight knots. I've got mine on a hook over the back of the chair right now, and I find if you hang it about chin height, it's less tiring because you can keep your arms close to your body rather than reaching for those knots. So I think this is about where I'm going to leave this, and you can see, if I pick this up for a second, how much the length has changed here. Like, these are the 2 that I've been working with, and then these are the 2 middle strands. So these are still really long compared to the rest, right? Alright, now I need to do 2 more of these. Once you get the hang of these too, they make really great TV projects. You know, something you just pay half attention to while you're watching your shows. A lot of mine have been made with anime in the background, so. So that's pretty close. I just have to do the 3rd one. So this is what I mean when I said I usually hang it about chin height. So when I'm sitting down on the floor, this point on my chair is a lot more comfortable than hanging it up here, because up here my arms are reaching for those very first knots, and that wears you out pretty quick. So hanging down here, I can keep them close to my body, and it's not as fatiguing to do all those knots. Now you can do this knot in the opposite direction too. And I'll show you one of the ways that we actually can use that to make a different sort of pattern. But if you're aiming for the helix look, you want to make sure that you're doing it in the same direction for all of your helixes, because if you do the knot in the opposite direction, your helix is going to spin in the opposite direction, and it's just going to look a little funky. Alright, those are all pretty even. So this next part is actually kind of important, because what we're doing is we're taking these and we are bringing them together. Okay, so, and this is partially going to determine how big of a planter you can put in the hanger when you're done with it. So you need to think about the size of what you're putting in there. The further the space between this and this, the wider you can actually do your planter. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the old knot strings as our new middle strings, because those are also the ones that are closest together. So same thing, we're going to make that same knot under the outside, over the middle, and through. But we're not going to tighten it all the way to the top this time. We're going to make this little square knot looking thing. And I'm going to do the same knot again, but I'm going to start from the other side. I'm going to make my L on this side, and I'm going to go under, and across, and through. So you see why I don't know if it's actually a square knot officially, but you see why I kind of call it that. It kind of comes together like a little square. Alright, so that's one. And then I have to do that 2 more times for the 2 other sides. So I'm going to bring this down. And I'm going to bring these 2. Because you want the strings that are closest to each other on the ones that you're joining. And again, this is one of those things where it's probably better to measure it, but I'm not gonna. So, same thing. Alright, cool. So we did that part. Now we're all jolly tangled together. Well, not tangled because we made nice knots, right? And then we need to do it again. So we're just gonna drop it down here. And the same basic idea. You want 2 sets, and you're gonna bring them together. So we are going to take these 2 sets right here. I'm going to toss the rest of this out of the way, and I really can't. Sorry, getting too low, no room to toss. But, so we've got this. Same thing. Now this time, these are getting pretty short. So I'm going to be a little more protective about my space, because the next knot I'm going to make after this is going to be a finisher. And like I said, I only know 1 knot, so there's no surprises happening. It's going to be the same kind of wraparound job that we did at the top. So, spoilers! One more check that I've got everything fairly even, but it looks like this one's a little lower. So if you do find that you have one that is in a different place versus the others, it's really easy to just loosen it up. You just need to grab the loop on the side and find it on the back of the knot too, and give those a little tug. It loosens your knot right up. And then you can just kind of coax it up a little bit and hold tight. Pull it And there you go. Now we've got the Three Musketeers right where we need them. And then we're just going to do this same dumb wraparound knot that we started with. See? I told you there's no surprises here. Alright, so there's that ugly knot. But it's firm. It's not going anywhere. And we have some length left, right? Now that's a lot of leftover string. And I'll usually keep it to help me like secure things to trellises or whatever, but I'm just going to snip it off right about here. And then we'll make a fun fringe. So give me just a second to find where I put my scissors. Alright, got my scissors. Come along and do the little snip, snip. Alright, if you want to make a fringe, you just kind of untwist your cords. Word of caution, though, once you get going and you make a few good ones, this gets almost as addictive as the plants themselves. There have been a few times I've been very tempted to actually dive in on macrame, and then I'm like, Mandy, you do not need any more hobbies. Okay? No more. But, you know, maybe learning another knot or two for different looks on the hangers wouldn't be so bad, right? I mean, you play with it till it looks nice, but, yeah. Ta-da! The real test is always if you can actually fit something in it, right? Probably not an issue if you do it properly and measure stuff, but, this works. I'll try to scan the boogers. Why does it always seem like putting things in those pots is actually the hardest part? Alright, so you can see this planter is actually not terribly well suited to this, because ideally I would want one where it meets the edge there. So what I should have done is actually make those helixes longer, or had a taller pot. But, I mean, it'll get the job done. So, not terrible. I need to take this out though, because that pot actually belongs to my African violet. Real quick here, I want to use some of these scrap pieces to show you how to do the other way of doing this knot, so that it doesn't end up with the spiral. So, you know, you still start out either direction you want. You start your L behind, then take your other one under, over, and through. Then you're going to start with the other direction. Make your L, under, over, and through. Just pull it up to the other way, and you keep alternating. So, I'm going to go back to this side, under, over, and through. And then we do this one again. Under, over, and through. If you lose your place, just look at where like the bump is on the top. And the bump is on this side, so I want to do this side. There, and it's flat. See, there's no spin to this whatsoever. And it's double-sided. It looks the same on the back as it does on the front. Just a nice flat length. So if you don't like the twisty look, that's a good option for you. This, by the way, is also a great trick. If you've got scrap pieces and you're trying to learn a knot, just take a few together and practice on it until you're happy with how it looks. So that's my 1-knot macrame hanger. Go ahead and experiment with it. There's a lot of things you can do with that 1-knot. So get creative, have fun, and enjoy taking your plant collection to new heights. Bye guys, happy planting.